Welcome to Dance to Heal. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how dance and movement can bring healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that movement was vital to my recovery. I created Dance to Heal Wellness and also authored the best-selling book, Outside in Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new techniques to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Thea is a multi-award-winning dancer and musician from Los Angeles, California. Her YouTube channel, Thea Bellydance, has over 100 million views. She teaches online through Patreon and privately in the Los Angeles area. Thea also holds a Master of Science, publishing original music for dance and yoga under the artist name Miss Thea on Bandcamp and other streaming platforms. And without further ado, it is my utmost pleasure to introduce to you Thea. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Jenny. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I have had the pleasure of watching you perform, seeing you live, dancing next to you. My audience does not know you yet, even though you're quite famous. Would you please just tell my audience where they can find you out in the ethers?
I am very active on Instagram and YouTube. My Instagram is Thea Rocks. It's TheaRaqs. And my Instagram, that's my Instagram. My YouTube is Thea Bellydance. And then I have a website that directs people in all directions. It's missthea.com, MISSTHEA. So I do a lot of things. I'm a musician and a dancer, so I have things on Spotify. I have music on Bandcamp, and I've got music videos on YouTube. And then my Instagram features me as a dancer, but I talk about my music a little bit too. So it's kind of fun. I'm just kind of throwing art everywhere.
And isn't that the way, right? That is the way.
It is.
Art is healing, has a modality, hands down. People who don't understand really need to check out Thea's YouTube channel. She has over 500,000 subscribers and views of 118 million views. So the world agrees that she is someone to watch. I really invite you to check out one of her videos. Here's the thing though. Thea presents as a belly dancer. She is also a master's degree in music, correct?
I do. I have a master's in music. I did my undergrad in classical flute performance. My master's was in Afro-Latin music performance, but it was kind of geared towards more of an ethnomusicology degree that was like a performance focus. Yeah, so I did do a lot of research in, I studied mostly Brazilian music and Cuban music, but I dabbled in Peruvian, and it was all of the kind of Latin American countries that had the African influence through the drumming, the culture. It was really, really amazing to study that as an outsider, as an American, and just coming in as a beginner and fresh eyes and just learning everything that I could about it. So yeah, I love world music. I love world dance, and it felt fresh and healing. Can I say healing?
Yes.
To study, to study something that was outside of my comfort zone and felt so comfortable. I think that makes sense.
Yes.
And while I was in my music degrees, I was in the practice rooms for like 3 hours a day when I was studying classical music, and it was mind numbing. And then I found this belly dance class, and I was like, well, I danced a little in high school. I can do this. So I went into this belly dance class, and it was like therapy for all of the crazy intense practice that I was doing. I went to this belly dance class, and I was like, oh, I can just move, and I don't have to be like perfect to be beautiful. So anyway, it's been 20 plus years in the making since all of that started.
I love that. I love how you stumbled, quote unquote, stumbled into
Right.
belly dance, right? It has a way of finding us. And I totally agree. My first day I went into class, I felt like I was coming home to my body. And I just love that,
Yes.
right? And you
Yes.
do make your own music though, correct? And so a lot of your videos is your original music.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. So probably about 2008, 2009, I started making videos for my students to practice at home because I was teaching belly dance at the time, and I wanted to make like it was the time of many DVDs. We made DVDs, and and that was the thing because YouTube wasn't as much of a YouTube university back then. So people didn't have the resources, and my students were like, "How can I practice your moves?" And I was like, "I got you." So I started making these DVDs for them, and it was just out of my garage, and I hung up veils behind myself, and my now husband was filming me with like his old junky equipment that he'd like basically dumpster dived for. And I was like, well, I want to use some music for it because I'm dancing. And I couldn't find good royalty free music that I could afford. I was on a zero budget, but I had a computer and I kind of understood how music's put together. So I started just like, I opened up GarageBand. I was like, okay, I'm just going to start sampling, mixing some samples. And I put together some kind of crap music, but it was okay. And then I figured like I taught myself how to do sound engineering. I taught myself how to mix the music, and then through my actual training uh, in a collegiate setting, I was taught, music arranging and composition, and I actually studied it. So then I started applying it later, and I've composed for things that aren't belly dance. I composed for a short film that my husband was creating, and I've done some other stuff, and I wrote some music for a friend of mine whose mother passed away, and I wrote some music for to honor her mother. And it's not all belly dance, but the music that I'm creating right now
Mm-hmm.
is kind of fusion, world fusion, but it's inspired by Turkish and Egyptian and Greek, and it's a combination of sound samples, but also original composed music. And I play flute on some of the tracks, and sometimes I sing. Don't listen too hard at my singing.
Oh no, it's
And
beautiful stuff.
I bought myself a drum, and I've been practicing my drumming. So some of it is my own drumming, some of it is sound samples that I like stripped apart and rearranged and created exactly what I wanted from it. So I am doing these music videos on my YouTube. I know I'm just like rambling right now.
Oh
I'm like
no,
really
you're not
excited to tell
rambling.
you about this.
Yes, tell us all about it.
I'm going to tell you all about it. So my YouTube videos, I've started doing music videos, and it's like I'm doing the whole thing. I'm dancing and I'm creating the music, and my husband like just films me, and he doesn't want any credit, but I like to tell
Yeah,
people that it's my husband because he's so cute. And and
absolutely.
so I have tons of these music videos that are all my original music. It's all my dancing, it's my choreography, or it's improv. And I'm just really proud of it. I'm really proud of it. And I want to share it. So that's what's going on there.
Yeah. Well, I really do love the fact that you're making music and you're dancing. Because in this whole platform, I emphasize a lot of how dancing with music, and then I add in the being present. We practice a lot of that, and so that allows you to be having more of a healthy somatic experience with your body while you're moving. That integrates all the
Mm.
parts of your brain, so we're not in any type of trauma response, right? We're after the panini. Everyone has gone through the panini. Everyone is recovering from this, dare I say, a traumatic event that's been global, right? And I love the fact that you're encouraging people to move. Giving them the music. Here's my music. Dance to it, right? And helping us
Yeah.
get out of this fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, which is really a reality. My question now is, where can they find your music there?
Okay. I do have some of my music on all of the streaming platforms. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you find music. It's just a sampling of my music. So it's basically one album that's a compilation of some of my favorite stuff from my other albums. But I also have, I think it might be 8 albums now. The 8?
Yeah, I think
7?
it's 8. Is it 8 or 7? You
It's
lose
on. They're
count.
on Bandcamp.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
On
and
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp is wonderful because they really take care of their artists. Most of what you pay for the music on Bandcamp goes directly to the artist.
Good to know.
So it's really, they're really wonderful, and they give back. They give back to charities, and they there's some days that they don't even take a cut. There's certain days that they just give it all to the artist. So it's very supportive, and you can stream through Bandcamp as well. If you don't purchase it, I think you can stream my music 3 times before you have to buy it.
Cool.
But you can actually just listen. You can go and listen, and if you like it, then anything that you pay, it does support what I'm doing financially.
Wonderful. How
really
do they
helps
find
me.
you on Bandcamp, Thea?
I am Miss Thea.
Okay.
That's my stage name. It's my real name, but it's also my stage name, and that's my music name. It's what my piano students always called me. So that's my name.
Oh, I love that. So
Yeah.
for my question is, I think people might want to ask this, so I'm going to ask it. It just popped up into my head. How did you get the name Thea? What is the origins of Thea?
My mother named me. It is my real name. I am Greek on my mother's side, and Thea is a Greek name. It means goddess, but the goddess Thea is the mother of dawn. It's kind of, I love my name. And when I started belly dancing, people would say, "What is your stage name?" And I'd say Thea. So yeah, it's my real name. It's the real deal. And I'm Greek, Hungarian, and Persian by blood, and I'm American by, culture. But I love that I can kind of like feel my blood connections through my namesake, through what I've been identifying as. So
Yes. So they can find you on YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, and also Patreon, correct?
Patreon, I offer classes, and it's pre-recorded content for the most part. And I throw in some extra stuff as well. I have some music downloads on Patreon. It's part of my offering, excuse me. So I'll teach maybe a choreography to one of my songs, and then I'll offer the song as an added bonus, and you can just download it straight from that. So I have some full courses on Patreon. I'm teaching improvisation. I'm award-winning improvisation dance artist. And I'm teaching creativity process and just belly dance technique in general. I play finger cymbals. I teach that. I teach veil. And I'm somewhere in the American cabaret range, but I do a little bit of fusion, and I do a little bit more Egyptian sometimes. And I think of it as movement technique, because the moves can transfer into different genres.
Yes, it can. Now, I also know, because we were during the Panini lockdown, y'all, we did courses together online, and there was one business course they and I were on, and then like you opened up like your TikTok account, and it went viral overnight. I loved it.
Yeah, it did.
It was just, it was just she came into class like, "Oh, I have another 10 million views." Like, I can't even fathom 1,000. We're about to hit 100. I think we'll be over 100, 150 downloads by the time this podcast interview launches. And I'm like, what, 1 million? Wait, how did you get? That's so cool. So how can they find you on TikTok?
TikTok, I'm not as active on TikTok. But I am Thea. What am I on there? I think I'm Thea Belly Dance. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I joined TikTok, and the next day it was like You have 65,000 followers. I posted a video. It was like a, 20-second video of me dancing on a drum. I was like on a drum and I was dancing, and my friend was like beatboxing as he was filming me. And so I was dancing to him singing, and it just like, it hit. We were just messing around,
Right? And I guess that's what engages people, because
Yeah.
you all have to go and just watch Thea's videos, because you're the epitome of, when I talk about just the joy of being alive, that's what you want to express when you're dancing. You were sharing with me before we hit the record button how for you it was the combination of your music, your love of music, and then you married it with dance, and that helped you be where you are now, because you've been gone through some healing, and now you're finding yourself healing even more, correct?
It's been a journey, Jenny. It's been an absolute journey. I'm a survivor of childhood trauma, and I don't feel like I need to get into it with you, but it's my emotional journey has really, like, I've found myself through dance, and my understanding of dance comes from my understanding of music. So it's almost like it's not, I can't put it into words. It's not like tangible. I can't, it's just a feeling. It's an energy. And when I create, it consumes me. And then I feel like I'm elevated. Like I feel like I'm taken away. It's just
transformative for you. It's
it
transforming. It's almost
is.
like an alchemy for you.
It's meditation. It's healing. I didn't feel like I could be myself until I started dancing and expressing myself through movement.
Yes.
And the way that I experience my body is through music, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it is. It makes sense. It makes sense. So, literally, Thea is the epitome of what we all need to be doing, which is giving yourself permission to be in your body and reminding yourself that you're safe. Usually, music can help us do that. If we find the appropriate music, get Thea's music, because she's coming from a healed place. For me, the biggest thing is giving yourself permission to be in the present. Because movement allows you to do that if you are present. So I also have quite a lot of beginner movers, people who are quite hesitant about dancing. What would you suggest for them if they're a baby beginner? Oh, I want to address one quick thing before we do that.
Yes.
So Thea touched very lightly on trauma from her past. And I do want to remind the audience for this podcast, trauma is being more understood now as any moment, especially in childhood when we felt out of control, right? And then we come up with a subconscious story to make sense of it. Usually starts with empowering us somehow, even if it is words that take power away from us. For example, we were all babies, right? We were all babies once. We weren't born as adults. That means there was an adjustment period when your adults in charge of you had to figure out what you needed. We went through quite a lot of periods where the adults could not figure it out. They weren't fluent in baby care. And some of us did not grow up with the luxury of having adults that really had an interest in baby care. So any of those moments will address and will give you moments of feeling no power. And that's the definition of trauma that we're defining right now. Okay. All right. So that's an evil level playing field. We're all babies and we all went through moments like that. And we're coming forward to the now. We do have some limiting beliefs that are holding us back. I constantly still reworking my self-talk, right? Or my inability to see myself in the mirror sometimes because I'm not in my present body or my present eyeballs. I'm seeing myself through a past lens. And that's super important. That's work that you can continue to do with the movement to get back. Baby beginner mover. What do you suggest? They can log on to your Patreon. They can find you on YouTube. any other things that you would suggest that they do?
Yeah. First of all, let yourself be a beginner. It's really okay, and it's, find a way that you feel safe in that area. If there's a class or a community that you can join, do it, and get to know the women that are around you, the women and men. But when you're finding this, if you're feeling isolated, look online. And these dancers that show up on Instagram, they're real people. And I don't know about all of them, but at least for me, like, you can contact me. You can like actually go on Instagram and send me a message and say, hey, can you tell me about this, this, and this? And I usually respond, and as long as it's not like something inappropriate. I'll just block you if it's inappropriate. Yeah. And I feel like if you just like find someone that inspires you and contact them and ask them questions and ask for resources, because going kind of down that rabbit hole of like, oh, this person does something that inspired me, I wonder where they got that from. That's pretty cool stuff. It's really, really good stuff. Yeah, baby dancers, find your people. Ooh. Connect.
So speaking of find your people,
yeah,
you've done, so she did her first VIP experience that is already on all of our social media. So if you're curious about that and you want to be in a safe environment where there's someone who's guiding you through the process of, oh, I want to learn how to like do my very first performance or find community, will you tell them about your event coming up in September?
Oh my gosh, the VIP weekend was so much fun. It was so much fun. I really, really love connecting with people. I love making friends and having that kind of safe environment. And I love treating people like my guests, like I love taking care of people, for a short amount of time. And, so what we did, back in March for the VIP weekend for the first run was I taught a choreography, and I got people costumes, and I fed them good food, and we went out for a photo shoot with my amazing friend Faiza, and then we put on a show at a Moroccan restaurant, and it's just like, it was the most wonderful party. We had so much fun together, and by the end of it, we were all friends. We had like inside jokes, and we were just having a great time. We did a music video to my original music. It was a 5-minute video, and it was just stunning. They blew me away. So anyway, one of my participants, who I adore, Anala, up in the Bay Area, loved it so much, she is going to host me for a second weekend. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a VIP weekend in September. We're looking at September 8 through 10, and it's going to be up in the San Francisco Bay Area, at the East Bay, if you know, you know. So Oakland Airport. Yeah, she's got some connections up there, and she's going to be hosting me. We're going to have kind of a similar setup. It's going to be 3 full days this time. We're going to be focusing on creativity and putting together a completely new choreography, again, to my original music, but it's going to be a different piece this time. And it's going to be something brand new that we collaborate and work on together. So this is all levels and experience. So if you are dabbling, or if you are a professional, you are welcome in my VIP weekend. I'm only taking about 10 people for this. So it's a real small event, because I want it to be just like a nice little family type feel, family community feel. We're going to do photo shoot. I'm going to teach like 12 hours of workshops. We're going to put together I already know it's going to be amazing choreography, and we're going to create a brand new music video. we've got Faiza coming up. She's going to be our guest photographer again. I'm so excited because her work is stunning. If you've seen any of my photos, almost all of them are Faiza. If they're not, they're like my husband, but she does such good work.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I had a photo shoot with her and she made me feel like I was this extra special person. She's so healing and loving, y'all.
Captures the beauty.
Your essence.
She does it. And like so positive and so loving. And just like, she knows what dancers are supposed to look like. Yeah. And she makes you look like a dancer. She makes you look like an amazing dancer because you are. Yeah. And then she just pulls it out of you. Just,
it's delicious.
Like, yes,
it's delicious,
yes. You know? Everything you're doing is wonderful. Keep doing it. And then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so you want to have this experience. You can find the registration on the website, MissThea.com. All right, so I guess I've run out of time. We're going to have Miss Thea back, y'all. Sorry, she's going to come back for a second interview.
Aww.
That's it. We didn't
love
get
it here.
to have. Yes, thank you so much for coming. And we are looking forward to you coming back. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you at the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Dance to Heal with Jenny C. Komen. Come back next time to hear stories of recovery through movement and learn more ways that you can move your body. To work with me and continue your journey, visit OutsideInRecovery.com. Are you ready to move?